When I got engaged to Daniel, I thought the hardest part of wedding planning would be choosing between ivory or champagne lace. I didn't expect my biggest challenge to come from his 16-year-old daughter, Chloe. From the moment Daniel introduced us, I tried hard to connect with her. I wasn't looking to replace her mom. I just wanted to build trust and find a middle ground. Sometimes it worked. We'd share coffee runs or laugh at TikToks. Other times, she'd go quiet, arms crossed, eyes rolling, as if my presence alone annoyed her. I chalked it up to teenage growing pains. Daniel assured me she just needed time. "She warm up to you," he'd say, brushing off the tension. "This wedding will show her we're a family." I wanted to believe him. After all, I wasn't just marrying him, I was stepping into a role in her life too. A week before the ceremony, I went to pick up my wedding dress from Alterations. It was everything I dreamed of: delicate lace sleeves, a flowing train, and just the right balance between elegance and simplicity. When I tried it on, I cried. I finally felt like a bride. That joy lasted until 2 days later. I came home from work early and found Chloe in my bedroom. At first, I thought she was just snooping, but then I froze. My dress was shredded on the floor. Lace torn, fabric hacked through like it had been attacked with scissors. She didn't even look guilty. She just stared at me with this cold, defiant expression and said, "You don't deserve him. This wedding shouldn't happen." I couldn't breathe. The room tilted around me. This wasn't some spilled juice accident or a careless mistake. She had deliberately destroyed the one thing that symbolized my future with Daniel. When I confronted her, she shrugged and muttered, "Maybe now you'll think twice before trying to replace my mom." I was shaking so badly I couldn't even speak. I just gathered the remains of the dress in my arms, tears blinding me, and locked myself in the bathroom. Daniel came home an hour later to me, sobbing on the floor, clutching what was left of my dream gown. Chloe had vanished to her room, slamming the door. When I told him what happened, he went pale. At first, he didn't believe it. Then he tried to minimize it. "She's acting out. She doesn't know what she's doing." But I cut him off. She knew exactly what she was doing. Now I'm torn. The wedding is days away and my dress is ruined. Do I give Chloe another chance? Pretend this didn't happen for the sake of keeping peace? Or do I call off the wedding entirely? Because if this is how she feels now, what kind of future am I walking into? The truth is, I don't know if I can forgive this. Daniel and I sat at the kitchen table that night, the destroyed dress still spread across the couch like some haunting centerpiece. My hands were trembling as I tried to explain how deliberate it had been, her words, her tone, the satisfaction in her eyes. But Daniel just rubbed his forehead, looking torn between anger and denial. "She's a kid," he said finally. "She doesn't understand the weight of what she did." I slammed my palms against the table. "Daniel, she looked me in the eye and told me I didn't deserve you. It wasn't some childish tantrum that was calculated." His jaw tightened. "She's been through a lot since the divorce. This wedding. It's triggering things. Not excusing it, but maybe if you both don't you dare make this about me needing to be more patient," I snapped. My voice cracked, but I didn't care. I have bent over backward for her. I've given her space, included her in planning, asked her opinions, and this is what I get. My wedding dress in shreds. The silence that followed was deafening. Daniel looked at me like he wanted to say something but couldn't. His loyalty to Chloe was written all over his face. And I realized in that moment I wasn't just marrying him, I was marrying this conflict. Eventually he stood up and went to her room. I heard muffled voices as stern but measured, hers sharp and unapologetic. At one point, the word "replace" echoed through the hall, followed by the slam of a door. He returned, looking exhausted. She admitted it, said she was angry. I grounded her, took her phone. I let out a bitter laugh. Her phone. That's the punishment for ruining my dress a week before our wedding. "What do you want me to do?" His voice broke, frustration spilling over. "She's my daughter. I can't just throw her out." "I'm not asking you to," I whispered, though part of me wondered if maybe that was exactly what I needed. I need to know you take this seriously. Because right now it feels like you're asking me to overlook the biggest red flag of my life." He sat back down, eyes full of guilt, but no answers. "I love you. I want to marry you. But she's part of the package. I'll have to find a way through this." I stared at him, the weight of his words settling like lead in my stomach. Find a way. As if this was a minor inconvenience, not a deliberate act of sabotage. That night, I barely slept. I kept replaying the look on Chloe's face, the malice in her voice. And Daniel's hesitation, his instinct to protect her over me, gnawed at me. The wedding was in 6 days. My dress was destroyed. My trust was shaken. And my future suddenly looked less like a fairy tale and more like a battlefield I wasn't sure I wanted to step into. The next morning, I woke up to reality pressing on my chest. 6 days until the wedding, and I had no dress. My maid of honor, Jenna, insisted we drive straight to the bridal shop. We'll figure this out. Worst case, we find something off the rack and make it work. I wanted to believe her. But every satin gown and lace train I tried on felt like a bandage over a gaping wound. None of them held the magic of the dress Chloe had destroyed. Still, I forced myself to buy one. I refused to let her win by canceling everything. Back home, Chloe barely looked at me. She breezed through the living room, phone confiscated, sulking like a queen without her crown. Daniel tried to smooth things over, hovering between us with awkward small talk. I couldn't stomach it. I excused myself and locked the door to my room, clutching the new dress like a shield. That night at dinner, she made her move. Pushing peas around her plate, she muttered, just loud enough, "Guess you'll never look as good in the new one." Daniel shot her a warning look, but said nothing. My fork froze in midair. I wanted to lash out, to tell her that cruelty wasn't strength, that she was only proving why her father and I could never truly have peace. But I swallowed it. After dinner, Jenna called. She had heard everything from Daniel's sister, who Chloe had apparently vented to earlier. "She's telling people you're trying to erase her mom," Jenna said. "She's painting herself like the victim." That nearly broke me. Not because I cared about gossip, but because it confirmed Chloe wasn't acting out of one moment of anger. This was a campaign, a mission to sabotage me, to make sure this wedding didn't happen. I tried to talk to Daniel again. "She isn't just upset, Daniel. She's weaponizing this. She wants me gone." He rubbed his temples, eyes weary. "I know she's being difficult, but she's 16. She's hurting. If we cancel this wedding, she'll think she's succeeded. Is that what you want?" His words left me hollow, because maybe deep down, that's exactly what Chloe wanted for me to walk away, humiliated, while she claimed victory. And if I stayed, what would my life look like? Constant battle, every family dinner an ambush, every holiday dripping with resentment. That night I stared at the ceiling, torn between two futures. One where I married Daniel and signed up for Chloe's hostility forever. And one where I walked away from the man I loved because his daughter had drawn a line I couldn't cross. Neither choice felt like a win. And with 5 days until the wedding, the weight of that decision pressed harder with every hour. 5 days before the wedding, I woke to a flurry of messages. My phone buzzed nonstop. At first I thought they were last-minute RSVPs or excited congratulations. Instead, they were screenshots. Chloe had posted on her private social media a rant. "She thinks she's replacing my mom. She's forcing this wedding on us. I'll never call her family. If my dad really loved me, he wouldn't marry her." My hands trembled as I scrolled. Mutual friends had shared it with me in disbelief. Comments piled beneath Chloe's post, her classmates chiming in, some even praising her bravery. It felt like being stabbed in public. I showed Daniel the post over breakfast, his face drained of color. "I'll talk to her," he muttered, pushing his eggs away. But talking wasn't enough. That afternoon, when I went to pick up altered shoes for the new dress, I came home to find Chloe in the kitchen with Daniel's sister. My future sister-in-law. They fell silent as I walked in, but not before I caught Chloe whispering, "She's not going to last." I couldn't keep swallowing it. "Do you hate me that much, Chloe?" I asked, voice sharper than I intended. She lifted her chin. "You don't belong here." The words landed heavier than any ruined dress or bitter post. Daniel rushed in, tried to defuse the moment, but the damage was done. His sister looked uncomfortable, mumbling an excuse to leave, while Chloe smirked like she'd won a battle. That night, Daniel and I fought for the first time since we got engaged. "I can't build a marriage where your daughter openly undermines me," I said, tears brimming. He rubbed his face. "She's lashing out, but she'd calm down. Please, just hold on a little longer. Once the wedding's over, things will settle." I wanted to believe him, but my gut screamed otherwise. Chloe wasn't slowing down, she was escalating. The following day, 3 days before the ceremony, I walked into the reception hall to meet the planner. The florist was there too. And who else but Chloe, sitting at one of the tables like she belonged. My stomach sank. "What are you doing here?" I asked. She leaned back, feigning innocence. "Dad said I should help. Don't worry, I won't ruin this one." Her words dripped with venom, and the planner looked confused, unsure if she should intervene. I wanted to scream, to demand Daniel take control of his daughter before she sabotaged everything. Instead, I excused myself and walked outside, my chest tight. Jenna found me pacing in the parking lot. I poured everything out: the posts, the whispers, the sabotage. She listened, arms crossed, then finally said, "You're not choosing between a dress or a wedding anymore. You're choosing whether you can live like this forever. She's showing you exactly who she is." Her words echoed long after she left. For the first time, I wondered not if Chloe would ruin the wedding, but if marrying Daniel meant letting her ruin my entire life. 2 nights before the wedding, I couldn't sleep.
Ow.
My mind spun between vows and venom, love and sabotage. Daniel snored beside me, exhausted from smoothing over fights between his daughter and everyone else. I envied his sleep because I couldn't shake the thought. This isn't a phase. This is forever. The next morning, I drove to my mother's house. She'd been keeping her distance, not wanting to intrude, but when she saw my face, she knew something was wrong. Over tea, I told her everything, every cruel comment, the destroyed dress, the public post, the whispers. She listened quietly, then said, "Sweetheart, love isn't just about marrying the man. It's about marrying his world. And right now, his world includes a girl who sees you as her enemy. Can you live with that?" Her words stung because they weren't dramatic. They were practical. Could I really sign up for years of Chloe's defiance? For being the villain in her story, no matter how kind I tried to be? I went home unsettled. Daniel sensed it immediately, wrapped his arms around me, whispering, "We'll get through this. Promise." But his promises felt thin against Chloe's steady campaign. That evening, the breaking point arrived. I had left my laptop open on the kitchen counter, where I'd been finalizing table assignments. When I returned, I found Chloe there, typing furiously. I froze and watched. She was deleting names, adding snide remarks in the notes section for certain guests. "What are you doing?" I snapped. She jumped, but didn't look guilty. "Fixing your boring seating chart. No one wants to sit where you put them." I rushed forward, closing the laptop. "This is my wedding, Chloe. You don't get to rewrite it." Her eyes blazed with triumph. "It's my dad's wedding, too. Which means it's mine more than yours." Daniel walked in just in time to hear her. For once, his face didn't soften. He stepped between us. "Enough, Chloe, go to your room." She folded her arms. "You always take her side." "This isn't about sides," he said, voice sharp. "You've crossed every line, destroying the dress, the posts, and now this. I won't tolerate it anymore." Chloe's lip trembled. "So you're choosing her over me?" "I'm choosing respect," he said firmly. She stormed upstairs, slamming the door so hard the walls shook. Silence hung between us. I looked at him, tears threatening. "Do you see now? This isn't just a tantrum. She doesn't want me here, Daniel. And I don't know if I can keep fighting for a place in her world." For the first time, Daniel didn't rush to reassure me. He rubbed his temples, defeated. "I know. And I don't know what to do anymore." That night, I lay awake again, but this time, a decision crystallized in my chest. The wedding wasn't just about saying yes to Daniel. It was about saying yes to this future. I wasn't sure I could. The morning of the wedding arrived with an eerie calm. The sky was clear, the flowers were delivered, and the church bells chimed like nothing was wrong. But inside, I felt like I was walking toward a cliff. The dress hung beautifully, my second gown. Untouched this time, but every glance at it reminded me of the chaos Chloe had stirred. Daniel moved around the house quietly, as if afraid to say the wrong thing. Chloe hadn't come out of her room since the blow-up over my laptop. I should have felt relieved, but instead, I felt hollow. At the venue, friends and family began filling the pews, their laughter echoing down the hallways. I forced smiles, posed for photos, and thanked people for coming. The surface, everything looked perfect. Inside, though, my chest ached with doubt. Minutes before the ceremony, Jenna slipped into the bridal suite. She squeezed my hand. You don't look like a bride, she whispered. I don't feel like one, I admitted. I feel like a woman about to chain herself to a war she'll never win. Her eyes softened. Then maybe the bravest thing isn't saying yes, it's knowing when to say no. Those words lodged in my heart like truth. When the music started and the doors opened, I stepped into the aisle. Daniel stood waiting, looking handsome and hopeful. My family rose, smiling through tears. But then, just beyond him, I saw Chloe. Her arms crossed, her glare fixed squarely on me, like a silent dare. Every step felt heavier. My mind raced. Was I ready to be her target for the rest of my life? Could I truly believe she'd ever accept me? Halfway down the aisle, I stopped. The whispers rippled through the crowd. Daniel's brow furrowed in confusion. I can't, I said, my voice carrying more strength than I felt.
I love you.
Daniel. But I can't marry into a life where I'm resented from day one. Chloe deserves to heal, and you deserve a wife who doesn't have to beg for space at your side. I deserve peace, and right now, we can't give each other that. Gasps filled the church. Chloe's smirk faltered, replaced by shock. Daniel's face crumbled, pain flickering across his features. I turned, walked back down the aisle, and left the church. Later, as I sat at my mother's kitchen table in my gown, drinking tea instead of champagne, the weight began to lift. My heart hurt, yes, but it also felt free. I hadn't been brave enough to fight Chloe forever, but I had been brave enough to fight for myself. Daniel tried to call. I didn't answer. I knew he loved me, but love alone wasn't enough to bridge this canyon. Chloe had destroyed a dress, but in the end, she hadn't destroyed me. I chose myself, and maybe someday that would be enough to build something real with someone who didn't come with conditions. And for the first time in weeks, I breathed easily. If you've made it this far, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments.